Good morning, everybody. This is Friday morning at 5:31, December 8th, and I'm time stamping this for my purposes, for the listener's purpose, and I just think it's important to do so. We got to let go of hurts and pains and things that no longer serve us, but what if we don't want to? And sometimes it's hard to let go of things that you don't even understand what it is that you need to let go. I'm going to explain to you the dream that I had. I just woke up from, and that's why I'm doing it now, because if I wait till later, I got to go substitute kids and stuff like that. Then it might not have the same effect. So I had to get out my bed just a little bit earlier than I planned to get this story out. So I'm going to talk about my dream, and I'm going to talk about what it ended up telling me as I woke up and was trying to decipher the dream. Now remember, as psychic mediums, spiritualists in general, it doesn't eliminate the trials and tribulations or the work that you have to do. And a lot of times, some things that we don't let go and the work that we fail to do even hinders our abilities. So what better way to let go to not only share this and help someone else, but it be my therapy to just get this out. And I'm being told to share my voice in a different way than I have before. Y'all know how I've been sharing it, but in a different way, telling my story. I have been getting a lot of messages from Spirit to let things go that no longer serve me. I went to sleep watching another spiritualist and her video, and I was trying to figure out, okay, but what am I supposed to let go? Like, I don't get it. What am I holding on to that I'm letting go? And this is what I'm talking about. We about to get into that right now without any further ado. So in my dream, my family that would consist of myself, Byron, and our 3 kids went on vacation. And on vacation, I also had some friends that were there. And so the last day of vacation, we're supposed to leave, wasn't nothing really going on. So I decided to go off with my friends. On the way of meeting my friends, I ran into some people from high school. I ran into another friend that had just had a baby. And, I'm kind of catching up with her. And she's severely stressed out. And I began to, speak life into her situation and give her some positive feedback and how things are going to get better. You don't see it now, but things will be better in the future. That was the sentiment anyway. It was a little more deep, of course, but that was the sentiment. So another girl from my childhood that ended up going to the other high school, because in our city it's split up to 2 high schools. So we have Southfield and Southfield Lathrop. That's what they were called at the time. Now they're Southfield A&T and University High School. She pops up in the dream and she says, "You not even accurate. Like, you off with this. You off, right?" And I'm like, damn, why is she attacking me? So anyway, the scene shift. We're in like Ruby Tuesdays / Fridays. I don't know why it was like both. It was very weird. But now looking at it, I worked at Ruby Tuesdays. Lord have mercy. When I was a teenager. Matter of fact, I got pregnant around the time I was working at Ruby Tuesdays. And see, this is the thing. A lot be going on in these dreams. And I'm decoding it even further as I'm talking to you. And we don't know what's going on. I seen another classmate. She was walking down the sidewalk with her child. She ended up reuniting with the guy that she was with in high school, right? Which they don't have a child together. But I think all of this was symbolism as to what it was trying to reach me about. It was a reflection of me. It comes to scene, it's me, my best friend, and some other girl. I don't remember the girl. We're sitting at the table, and I realized, I really need to check in with the family because I know we have to leave today. You know what's going on. So all of a sudden, I got this sense of urgency to leave. I left them. I got to go. I got to get back. And on the way that I'm running home, I run into this like swan on the sidewalk. I know it's weird, like this duck slash swan, and it chased me, and I'm running like a motherfucker. I'm running, and I run through some doors, and I eventually lose it, right? And then I get to my family. Now, my family is having a party. They're with other family, my in-laws, and my eldest son, his grandparents are there. It's just a lot going on, and they're all celebrating, and I don't know what the hell's going on, right? Because nobody told me anything. I'm off doing my thing, and then I come to say something to my husband, like, what's up? Why you don't say nothing? He's very frustrated. He said something to me, kind of, checking me in a way, like, basically, like, I know what I was doing. I'm being typical me or whatever, like. And so I'm trying to explain it. So this Caucasian lady I don't recognize jumps in very dramatically and cuts me off. I'm like, what the fuck? I know she did. And she begins to talk to me about some spiritual stuff that I'm kind of unclear of. But what I think it was really to further get my attention and really pay attention. I think, dreams are symbolic. So sometimes it's a lot of things, a lot of jump scares or different stuff that's got to come out to get your attention. And the symbolism of the dream was some of it was kind of dark in nature. And I think the darkness represents the overtone and the feeling, the grief that I have over this situation. So, they're out there, they're playing ball, they're celebrating. And so I go to my oldest because he's always the one that's just, he's so mature. He always knows what's going on. He understands me. It's different. And so I'm going to trying to get information and get clarity, both explain myself and find out what's going on. And he's sitting by his grandmother. Next thing I know, he's like put into a cage and begins to fall asleep, right? And I think it was shutting me down. In the dream, I was being shut off from talking to him because this is something I needed to face. And he was my comfort, my deflection. He represents comfort and deflection in the dream. So he had to be thrown in the cage and put to sleep. So I would focus back on me. And some other things was going on. Now, for sake of time and memory too, you wake up, you don't wake up with the whole dream. You wake up with the parts that matter. And I think I told you the parts that matter. And even though you've heard them, you don't know what the hell is going on. So I'm about to break it down. The dream was showing me back when, as a child, right? My parents were religious, more so my mom, very, very religious, very, very protective. I could not go. If I went outside, I'd have to be out at an hour at a time, and I would have to physically check in. I couldn't call like my friends or whatever. My life was very closely monitored. My mom was always afraid someone's going to jump in our ass and rape us or something like that. And I know that sounds very cynical or sarcastically cynical, but it's true. Here's the thing. I don't blame my mom for none of that. I get it. As a parent, I get her fears, and I get keep your child close to eliminate any potential situations that could traumatize their life. And sometimes as parents, while we're trying to avoid one trauma, we're causing another. But in this case, I think the trauma she caused me was more important than letting me out in the streets from a parent's point of view, right? So I'm breaking down all these point of views. So I get that. I don't hold nothing against her. But when it comes to things like this, two things can be true, and that can be she did her job as a parent and the best she knew how to do, and I understand why she did it, but it ended up rolling to a series of events that has collected and caused me some issue. Again, this is not nothing that I'm faulting my parents on. So with that being said, I didn't get to do a lot. So by the time I got a car, I kind of started getting a little bit more freedom. I had a high school boyfriend, but my parents trusted. My dad was friends with his mother and grandmother. His grandmother was like a mother to him, and they were on the block. So we were pretty close. We hung tough and hung loose. whatever outlet that I had that my parents trusted is where I hung with, because that's where I could get away. But there was still structures and rules. Now, I still had to be home and stuff, but I still was getting more freedom than I had. So I was enjoying that. So in the process, my parents never really had a sex talk with me. My mom, I think she felt if she avoided it, she didn't have to deal with it because of her religious conditioning. And with my dad, he more talked at me. You know, these boys, you know how men bark to you about boys, but never broke it down. You know, if you're feeling this way, let me know. We can go get this. We can go get that. It was no talk about preventative care or how I would feel or the realistic nature of, you know, going through puberty, growing up. Those talks weren't had. And I didn't have them with anyone else. Right, because even though I have other family members, I didn't have aunts or uncles that really spent time with, that I had that relationship with. I don't fault them either. That's just what it is. So one thing about me, I don't have issues with a lot of things, but they can be what they are. You know what I'm saying? And that's on that, and that's that. So I ended up becoming a mother, a young mother. I had my son at 19 and a half. So I remember distinctly, there was a time I was feeling ill. I didn't really know what was going on, but, you know, I got better. And so I was hanging out with some friends. One of my girlfriends at the time, we no longer hang together, and some other friends from high school, and we were hanging out, and I ended up falling asleep. We were at the guy's house. Strictly platonic relationships with nothing strange going on. I understand any men that might be listening. Yeah, that was until they made their move. Well, they ain't made no damn move yet. So shit. We was chilling. I wouldn't have responded anyway. Not interested. And so I fell asleep early. And so one of the guys was like, "Are you pregnant?" Now, mind you, Spirit has a very interesting way of getting your attention, and Creator will use anybody. Everybody has abilities. Nobody's better than the other. It's just a matter of being tapped in and unaware of them. But no one's more powerful or better than the other than awareness makes you powerful, if that makes sense. So I'm like, what? So I went home, took a test, and I took one of them, what is it, Blue Vine or some shit like that. And with the digital one said pregnant, I almost lost my mind. I sat there and contemplated my whole life that flashed before me. And instantly I felt responsible, because regardless of the fact that I entered this in ignorance, I have now done what needed to be due to bring this child in life, and I wasn't ready. Fast forward, and I'm trying to make this as fast as I can for sake of time, because I got to get ready for work, y'all. But fast forward, you know, I've had this child, and I still had some fun with him. Don't get me wrong. But what I understood was, even though I managed with the one kid, and of course, you know, it hampers your life. It changes your life, right? But I still was making do. But what I understood was my child needed some stability, and I had to get serious. And so I came across my divine partner now, that I'm with now, that I'm married. Things got serious, and, you know, we became a family, you know. Because unfortunately, my eldest son's donor, he doesn't have it in him to be a parent. And it's crazy because the mother, especially if you're not together, the mother's going to have the child the most. You know what I'm saying? It's not even like his role would be that difficult. He just cannot do it. He's incapable, and I understand. He doesn't call. He doesn't do shit. And he has 4 children, okay? And he are messing these kids up. His oldest son right now, I haven't seen him in some months, and I'm very concerned. Good kid. But, you know, stuff like that leaves some wounds. So anyway, I hope I'm not too all over the place for y'all, and my apologies. I'm trying to articulate this the best way that I can. When I met my husband, he said he wanted 5 children. I thought that was absurd. 5 kids. What the fuck? Who's paying for them? Who's feeding them? No one's going to help us with these damn kids. It's going to be all on us. No, they'll help us. Woo, woo, woo. And, you know, he had all these fanciful ideas. He had all these assumptions. And I'm not taking away or making him seem like something's wrong with him or his head. But I've always been one to really be realistic. And to certain people that might come off as negative, and it's not. It's just that some people don't want to look at, they always want to look at the fanciful things or the best case scenario. And I was always taught to look at it all sides. That's how my dad taught me to look at it. And as a current parent, I knew what I was talking about. So we didn't have 5 kids, but we went on to have 2 together. And so now we're a family of 5. Throughout my childhood with my parents, this is what I neglected to put in there. My parents had a lot of drama going on. And unfortunately, when you do, your kids carry the weight of it, especially if you throw your kids in it. If your kids become the ones that you vent to, and you're putting them in grown folks' business, and then it begins to be this tug and pull and choose and this, that, and the third. So I carried a lot of weight of other people's shit. And on top of that, which that never stopped, and it still trickles to this day, now I'm in my own shit that I don't even understand. And I have to be responsible, and I'm not ready. I haven't lived life. I haven't traveled. I don't know shit. Okay? The ideal thing would be for you to travel the world, live a little life, learn who you are so you can be ready for parenthood. You can know what you want. You know what I'm saying? You could be more prepared. And I wasn't. I was thrusted into this thing because of ignorance. And again, I'm not blaming my parents. It's just what it is. So there's a lot of pain and hurt and resentment is what I'm getting to, because I've always had to be responsible for other people's shit. I've always been scrutinized, and I've always been like a study of sort when it came to the things that I wanted or my feelings. It was like I had some stinking thinking and I need to be more responsible. And so I was always gaslit and manipulated and shamed for my thoughts. This is a carry burden even to this day. I know the things that my husband feels when it comes to me, I'm going to acknowledge them just like I did when we had a session together. I'm going to acknowledge, even though he might not be dead on, he's in the ballpark. You know, when people are with you and they swap energies with you, they know you. I mean, we've been together forever. You know, we've been really carrying on a relationship since December 23rd, 2006. And we got married in 2009, February 2009. We've been together for a long time. Okay. So it's safe to say he gonna know something is up. And I had missed some stuff with my family out with my friends in the dream. Currently, my husband feels like I'm not concerned about family. I care more about my friends. I'm being real transparent with y'all because I'm about to help somebody today and myself. So let's do it. It's not that I don't care about family. You know what? My friends, my kids are great. I got some great kids. They're fun and they're funny. Oh my God. They off the hook. Anybody who's been watching me on Facebook has seen little screenshots of my kids' correspondence via text message. You will realize how funny they are. Especially that BJ something else. So that's not the issue. But what it is I have learned to steal my time. Because I'm trying to fill a gap that I feel I might never get a chance to fill. My family that I have created with my husband represents more responsibility to me. My friends, I'm not being analyzed. I'm not being critiqued. I could just be me. I could just have fun. We don't have to talk about responsibility. We don't have to talk about anything that's going to be faced with work or a task. We can just have fun. And it's very damaging. And it's like a darkness over my life that I didn't get a chance to live. My whole life has been responsibility, be it emotionally, physically. It's literally been responsibility, one responsibility after another, survival, moving through one hurdle over another, doing what I have to do, despite how I feel, because God forbid how I feel, my feelings are irresponsible. They're selfish. You can't be selfish, Racquel. You got to think about everybody else. And this is the message that I have gotten my whole life. whether that be verbally or whether that be other ways. It might not be overt, but that was what was being told to me. You should care about this, Racquel. This is your family. You should, these things. So I steal my peace. I steal the thing that I feel that I'm lacking. And I feel like if I let it go, right? So back to the message of letting it go of things that don't serve you. No, it's not serving me because it's not making my life no easier. But at the same time, I feel like if I let it go, then that issue is never resolved. Again, I'm sacrificing again. I've been sacrificing my whole life, and then there goes another sacrifice. Here goes the opportunity or the fear that door is going to be shut forever. It will never be rectified. This will be my life. I was a living sacrifice for everybody. I never choose me, and even when I wanted to choose me, I was shamed for doing so. Both my husband and I have been raised in trauma. As much as that makes our relationship make sense, it also gives us a bunch of challenges that I can't even begin to articulate at this moment. And so I love him and he loves me immensely. Like I love him immensely. And we have each other's back. We'll do anything for one another. But it's still, even though I understand his sentiment and I understand why he is the way he is, even if he's not willing to see that as well, this is very important to him. Family is very important to him. Well, I'm just trying to breathe, so here goes the conflict. So it's like, it's not that I don't love my family or I don't want to spend time with them or nothing like that, but I gotta find a way to bring in the balance. We do stuff together, but I would be lying if I didn't tell you it could be more intentional. It could be more intentional and it could be more frequent. But it's hard though. It's hard because it's like I feel like I have to choose, like I've always had to choose, and I feel like that one choice negates me, makes me sacrifice again. So when you're in that pigeonhole, you kind of get nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You kind of get nowhere. I'm in the house a lot. I don't do a lot. I don't go anywhere. If I go somewhere, I feel like I'm being criticized. Friends are more important. And if I choose my family, it's somewhat is an undertone of resentment because it's like I'm sacrificing. This is very deep, and only people that's been through this could understand it, because somebody else would probably feel like this is just fucking craziness and selfishness. I'm just being honest. I'm going to look up what that white swan symbolizes, but if I had to guess, I'm being chased by my childhood. So I feel like swan is white. I feel like that represents purity. You're pure when you're younger. I feel like, and I was running from it. So it's like I'm trying to outrun these pains and hurts, but I'm being slammed, halted quickly with other shit. And so I had to look at that. And so, yeah, we do have to let shit go. It's not serving us. Hell, it's not serving me. But at the same time, I it's like it's hard. I don't want to, because if I do, it's like how people are hurt by somebody and they don't want to forgive them, because the real reason that I feel like if I forgive them, they get off the hook, and they're not being held accountable if I forgive them. And even though that makes sense, that thought process is still not helping you though. They're not going to get off the hook. They've got their own things they have to battle with spiritually, but we're not looking at it like that. We want to see the person pay. We want to see justice, and sometimes justice come other ways. I think my redemption is going to come through the spirit and the things that I have moving forward. But it's hard to see that and accept that. Even though I believe it, it's still hard to see it and accept it because I'm so mad about this shit here. And so, I had to, as I was waking up and decoding all this, and I'm telling you, I had to pray. I had to go ahead and I had to ask Creator to take this from me, because I don't know how to let this go. And truly, because I personally don't want to let it go, because it's just the same sentiment. It's like letting something or someone off the hook and being this sacrifice for everybody else and not choosing me. That's how I feel. That's how I'm processing it. Whether that be a distortion or not, that's how I'm feeling. So I asked Creator to take that from me and take it back into light and love, to neutralize it and send me and fill that gap that it has removed with life, love, replenishing, restorement, blessings, peace. Because that's what I need. That's what I need. This is bigger than me right now. I'm going to need assistance. But that dream is funny because I asked. I was watching this video, the message the lady was giving. And I started to think, well, what is it? Because these messages keep coming through in different ways of letting stuff go and how they're blocking. I have some work to do in the spirit. I have some work to help others. Part of it is sharing my story as I'm doing right now. And there's other levels to it. But holding on to this, it hampers. It's a block. I'm sure it would be strong if I was into doing more of the darker magic, and I don't say dark magic in a demonization way, right? Because we like to look at everything as God and the devil and light and dark and evil and good. Things just are. But what I'm saying is, if I took the more road of chaos, if I let my chaos side consume me, that is necessary, but it has to be remained in balance, then that could probably fuel that. But I'm not interested in that. So it's not beneficial. It's really what it boils down to. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I don't know if that helped somebody, and I don't even know if you understand if that made sense, because I know that was a lot, and I tried to condense it as best I could considering the time that I have. So I appreciate y'all for listening. Please subscribe to my Patreon. That's where I'm going to put my social media posts. I have other social media, but you're not going to really see me active on there. I'm on Patreon and I'm on YouTube. You can join my Patreon for free. My social media posts will be free. And what I mean by that is stuff that you will see that I would post on any other platform. It will be free on my Patreon. Anybody can look at it. The paid stuff is for those that are interested. The stuff that costs makes sense for it to cost. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to pay for anything that you're not looking for. I appreciate you for listening. Share this to somebody who might need it. I love you all. And I'm out. I got to get ready for work.